Marfoogle News finally going live in 3, 2, and 1. All right, thank you. Thank you guys for your patience. We have had pretty serious back-end issues, and it is revolving around actually going live with our main platform. Starting to think that there's somebody out there to get us. We're going to talk about this ship pulling into Hawaii. This is the thing here. Is everybody is high on hope right now. There very well may be something heading our way that is very nefarious. This ship pulling into Hawaii creeped a lot of people out. We'll talk about that here in a minute. But first of all, we are going to talk about Ukraine and Zelenskyy. People were very, very, very pissed off, especially when we found out that a lot of our tax dollars were getting put somewhere, and many people believe that those tax dollars were not only misspent, but lost and fraudulently even given to somebody else or sold to other people to make money twice. This is especially infuriating when over the last couple weeks, we have been finding out all sorts of things that we have been gypped on. As, of course, taxpayers all over the country are pretty pissed. But they say Zelenskyy, his Oval Office spat with Trump was regrettable, but he says he's ready to work for peace. The whole thing with him, and this is my honest opinion coming out of my soul, is that he is just straight up a puppet. So when I see headlines like this, I'm like, okay, so whatever group behind him is saying, hey, you've got to kiss and make up, there's an agenda on the line or whatever. It almost makes me think that that spat on his part was maybe organic. I don't know. A lot of people think that he did that because that they were, NATO and everything wanted the spat to happen so it wouldn't work. But who knows? Maybe he's just an idiot and he ended up arguing, and now people really, really don't like it. The overall response is people thought that he shouldn't have been that unprofessional and that he shouldn't have said all this. And then, of course, there's a certain chunk of people that all say that our president was in the wrong. But either way, it looks like for the deal that they need, he's like begging or something, or at least that's what they're putting it, making it look like, right? So with this, they say that Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelenskyy said Tuesday that the Oval Office blow-up with the U.S. was regrettable and that he stands ready to work with Trump's strong leadership to get a lasting peace. Zelenskyy's remarks, an apparent attempt to placate Trump, came in a social media post on X hours after the White House announced a pause in military aid. So this wasn't just because he's like, oh, I'm sorry. It's because they literally stopped the money. So when that money stops, I'm sure something else stops, and I'm sure he was pretty pissed. So he ended up going and, oh, okay, yeah, we want to sign. That deal, of course, this is why it matters, that deal will end up putting money back into the United States. We have all been put in debt by this war, which has nothing to do with ourselves. So it is pretty bad. Now, before we move on, make sure to go check out Jace. Again, in any kind of emergency, this is super, super helpful. If you want to support the little guy and prepare yourself at the same time, then go over to marfooglenews.com/Jace. Again, that is marfooglenews.com/Jace. Again, that is a kit with all of the most commonly prescribed antibiotics in it, and it will come straight to your door. It's an easy interview with a board-certified doctor, and again, you'll be able to get that really quickly. So again, marfooglenews.com/Jace, and it will be good in any kind of emergency where you might need them. Also, go check out Jace Daily, where you can get a year supply of your regular medication. So if the lights do go out, you will have your medication. All right, and then let's bring in my co-internet brother, Dex James. What is going on, and how are you doing today?
Well, hello, Adam, and hello, Foogle fam. I'm doing just fine.
So I'm going to fix this again. Let's see here. All right. We got it lined up. So U.S. and Ukraine prepare to sign this deal. So do you want to talk about just, now the deal's off, the deal's off, the deal's on?
This guy is a nut. It's absolutely nuts. So he goes over and he meets with everybody in Europe, and he probably realizes they're not going to, while they want to help him, they don't have the power and the pull to bring him along. We shut off the last of the goods we were sending him, so he comes begging back to Trump saying, all right, I'm here, I want to sign a deal. They were literally trying to get the deal done before the big speech tonight That was the attempt. They were trying to get it done today. It ended up just culminating in a letter that Trump read at the speech, saying that he is now ready to sign at any moment, at any convenience of our president's time, to go forward with the deal. Now, again, the deal, I'll remind everyone, as what our president said, it was not for security forces. It was just literally to get us in bed with their mining business so that we could extract resources from that country to the tune of immediately 500 billion right away, and then even greater over time. So that's a much larger number than the 350 billion we've apparently spent, or we're told we've spent on this war. So that would be a net positive for us, but I don't know how long it takes to actually recoup that.
Yeah, it's not like it's not like they would just cut us a check or anything. I mean, that's us having to go and be able to get it, right?
And the other funny thing, Adam, just the other person who came out on this was Putin. I think it was yesterday or the day before. He reminded the world, and really was reminding America, that he actually has more rare earth minerals than Ukraine, and he would be more than happy to talk about a deal. So I think that also probably weighed into this too, because could you imagine is that all of a sudden we sign a deal with Putin for rare earth minerals instead of Ukraine because he acted like a baby in the White House?
Yeah, that's pretty bad. And everybody or a lot of people know that Russia does have a chunk of that. What's crazy is that their GDP is like $2 trillion when they have stuff like that right now. I guess it's all about making the deal. As far as the situation here, this is all really to keep this thing going in Ukraine, and Ukraine versus Russia. More and more about these minerals are coming out, and in this case, the president kind of put it out there like, hey, we want these minerals. But in general, most of us think that this is a war over resources. Like the Middle East, there was all of these issues, but when it really came down to it, it was about controlling the oil. Why do you want to control the oil? Well, the oil controlled the money. It's the petrodollar. But now we're going to be going off the petrodollar. So that's what they say eventually, right? It's still stuck on it. A lot of people believe that we're going into crypto and XRP and these other things, and that will be the currency in the future. So to control all of that would, again, be something that we will see wars over and things like this. With this whole situation, it was silly. Now, this ship ended up creeping into Hawaii. And it says, oh, look, what just creeped into Honolulu just now? SS Pacific Tracker, a research vessel used by the U.S. military to track missiles. It says, right. So, again, these portable ships, if you are an expert on them, please feel free to chime in. If you're an internet expert that looked up the wiki, then maybe not. But again, if you actually have been on these ships or know about them, we do have a lot of military in our groups. So again, make sure to chime in. But essentially, there has been a pattern that I have noticed, which is that we are not only putting troops on our border, we are now going to be building an Iron Dome around our system, around our country. And then, of course, things like this happen. Yeah, they could be going to fill up. They could be going to paint the ship or something. But it is a very, very, very tumultuous time for these kind of things to be spotted. We always have people send us stuff that pops up into Hawaii. I don't think that this is, every weekend. So what exactly is that there for? Are they worried about something coming from that direction? Most people believe, since the headlines aren't war, 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 that's, that nothing is going on. But I would like to remind you, the art of war, you're not exactly going to knock before you come in. So, and then, of course, we have been hearing tons and tons of craziness out of the cartels. Since the border has essentially been locked down for the most part, the lowest numbers recorded in history. That was announced at the State of the Union, which again, we were going to wait until that was over. Still had issues. In that State of the Union, saying that it has basically been closed down. Today, there's been new videos circulating about these cartels essentially wearing camo, and instead of getting the people across, so they're not trafficking people anymore, they're more trafficking that fenny, and it's usually one guy in a backpack with, a couple pounds of the stuff, and he's going across. But now they are hiding because they are literally having a way harder time getting across that border. So there's a lot of stuff going with the cartels, and the cartels are not happy about not being able to transport their goods, we'll call them. And then this was a new video that came out. A new video shows 4 armed members of the Cartel de Jalisco Nueva Generación parading 2 men stripped down to their undies, holding hands and carrying signs identifying them as burglars. So you might first think, oh God, that's nasty. But I'm sure there's going to be a huge chunk of people that say, well, this is messed up. So the cartels are basically, this might end up having the people in the streets kind of say, oh, well, they're doing good for us, right? These were burglars, and the cartels are, helping us out. In cartel land, as far as, everybody talks about them here in the US, everybody that I have talked to that talks there, they say that the cartels are really the only ones that actually do things for certain communities. Like they end up donating money to put, they don't say where it's coming from, but they are putting money towards building schools or this or that. And I'm not trying to glorify the cartels, but that is a general viewpoint of some of the people that live there, right? And that's very similar to how people looked at the mob and the mafia in New York. The mob or the mafia would basically pull up with Thanksgiving turkeys and give it to everybody in the poor neighborhoods. These are the things that mattered to people back then. They didn't care about all of these things and this thing. They pull up and give me something in need. It's a big deal. So with this, it seems to me maybe there's a PR thing going for the cartels, because there's been a lot of videos like this. Have you noticed that? I don't know what's going on, what kind of psyop that they're running. But again, it is kind of across the board. There's lots of videos circulating that are like this, that almost paint them in a positive light. Why would they? But on the other hand, everybody's made to think that these things are, the cartels are now a T organization and that we're just going to wipe them off the map. I don't think that's how it's going to work. Anybody can be it. There's no uniform. In this case, there may be, but not every. Make sure to, again, join us for our next show. We're going to talk about all the back page. We even got even more. There's more on the horizon. You need to follow us tonight on Marfoogle TV. Again, we're coming up in just a few minutes over on Marfoogle TV. We're going to talk about, of course, France and, of course, Macron splitting from Keir Starmer. We'll talk about that here in just a minute. So make sure to follow us over on our other channel, share this out, and, of course, make sure to hit that notification bell to all. We'll see you in just a moment. And again, we're going to be talking about that State of the Union. We're going to be talking about France, Macron, all of that. And we're going to be talking about, of course, the protests, everything. We'll see you in just a moment. Be safe, be prepared, and Marf out.